Hello everyone, happy holidays, happy Easter. Here we are with marketing. So four areas on marketing. Got role of marketing here, influences on marketing, marketing process and marketing strategies. But for today we're going to be mostly looking here at the role of marketing. Hopefully you will see that we are following the syllabus exactly. So this is the first dot point for marketing, strategic role of marketing, goods and services. So marketing is used by businesses to increase revenue and to also increase consumers' awareness of its products. If they're not aware of it, they're not going to be able to buy it. Marketing is the total system of interacting activities designed to plan, price, promote and distribute products to present and potential customers. A lot of people think just marketing is only advertising and selling. Yes, that's part of it, but that's not all of it. Marketing is much, much bigger than that, much more important. Marketing extends beyond the business itself, and its influence is shown clearly through its impact on society, and marketing is the key business function that is most visible to consumers, and of course that's through advertising. An analysis here, Apple is a lifestyle brand and it uses marketing to influence consumers to continually buy their products. You might want to have a think about exactly how Apple does that and what do we mean by a lifestyle brand. Qantas has the red kangaroo as their logo. How does this help with their marketing? Something else for you to think about. And a link, more than any other business function, it is the role of marketing to develop and implement strategies that generate revenue and sales for the business. So really, really important key business function. Second dot point, interdependence with other key business functions. A successful business is one where the internal parts of the organisation work together to achieve the goals of the business. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one because this is actually going to be part of your homework, so you'll see this when we get to the end. So have a read through this yourself, and I want you to be thinking about how does marketing interrelate, or how do the other key business functions come to depend on marketing. On to the next dot point. There are three approaches to marketing. Now this is more historical, especially production and sales. They are sort of older type approaches to marketing, and what we use today is more the marketing approach, which makes sense. But anyway, we'll go through and explain them in a bit more detail. I do quite like this little diagram here. It explains it in a simple form, in a way to help you understand the production approach way back in the Industrial Revolution time. The sales approach, which occurred between the 1920s and 1960s, and then a marketing approach, which happened really from about the 1980s on, and the one that we use today. As I said, we'll be going through these in more detail, but you just need to know that there are three approaches, and why were they used in the past, and why do we use this particular approach here, the marketing approach, now. Okay, in the first approach, the production approach, it was about providing goods and services. Marketing really wasn't thought of at all. If it was just an afterthought. High quality and high prices. If you made it, the customers would buy it. Businesses pretty much sold all of their output in these days. This is back a long time ago, in the 1920s. A good case study is Henry Ford, maker of Ford cars, and his quote that customers can have any colour they like as long as it's black. So not at all interested in any customer input. He just said, this is what we're making, and if they want cars, they're going to have to buy them in black. So businesses placed a whole lot of emphasis on production to win their customers. Marketing was not used as we know it today. It wasn't necessary. The second approach was the sales approach. So this is now when we've moved on from the production approach, but we haven't come to the marketing approach yet. 1930s to 1960s. So convincing consumers now of the need to buy particular products. Products can't be sold based solely on quality. People need to believe the good will be of benefit to them. Salespeople then became really important. Take the product to the customer. You may have heard about this back in the old days when salespeople would come to the door demonstrating products, and mostly they were men doing this, and they would travel all over the countryside. Things like vacuum cleaners, encyclopedias. Can you imagine that such a thing would have been sold? But they were, and they were sold quite successfully door to door. But I want you to be thinking about, are there any sort of ethical issues that you can think of that might have been at play here? People coming door to door selling products, demonstrating them in your home. I want you to think what sort of ethical issues could have arisen from that. Okay, and now we come to the marketing approach. So there's two approaches. So there's the marketing approach 1, which was from the 1960s to the 1980s, and then there's marketing approach 2, which is 1980s to the present day. So we'll start with the first one, 1960s to the 1980s. This is after the war years, finding out what customers want through market research and satisfying their needs. So the first time that this hadn't happened in the past, because we had the production and the selling approaches. So now the marketing approach meant we're doing some market research, find out what they want. And this was the first time Australians had a discretionary income. If you don't know what that word means, or disposable income, I suggest you look it up and find out what it means. It's important. Australians had more wants than ever before, and they all had also, more importantly, had money to spend on them. The rise of the consumer. So TV, radio, print advertising, especially print, was increasing. Then the marketing approach 2, so this is 1980s to the present day, what we have today. So changing economic conditions and society, of course, has changed from the 1980s to the present, and it's led to some modifications of this approach up here. There's more focus now on corporate social responsibility. That's probably the biggest area that's changed. Customer satisfaction and, of course, relationships with customers. The rise of the internet, of course, has been very big in allowing this to happen. Social media, personal interactions with customers, online, blogs, social media, as I said before, and email interactions with customers. I want you to have a think about, has that always led to good outcomes for businesses? Online, blogs, social media, and email interactions with customers. Can you think of a time when it's led to something that's been less than perfect? Talking about corporate social responsibility, as we did in that previous slide, how well a business manages the social, the environmental, and the human consequences of its actions, as well, of course, as maximising its profits and keeping its shareholders happy. I'd like you to have a look at the Woolworths Sustainability Report. It is 64 pages long, but there's a lot of pictures on there, okay? So I would like you to have a look, though. Just scan through it. You don't have to read it in depth, but I'd like you to have a look through and just have a think about, why do they do this, all the things that they do? What do they hope to achieve from it? And the last thing for you to do, as I said before, I want you to come up with 3 paragraphs, one on how operations is related to marketing, HR related to marketing, and finance related to marketing. Go back over all the slides again, really try and get in your mind a really good idea of what marketing is. It's not just advertising and selling, it is a total plan of interacting activities, tying all these things together to get a product out there that consumers will want to buy. Okay, I'll see you in class.